of all the songs yet to be sung. All the games yet to be played. All the ideas yet to be imagined. Think of all the hopes and dreams and promise yet to be realized. Of all the arguments against abortion, these are the most compelling. Life, what a beautiful choice.
Mariel, you're amazing.
Oh, JP, stop it.
No, really, you get to play so many people, yet you're always you.
Well, I do get a lot of help from a terrific hairstylist, I trust.
We all know how important that is.
The thing I love is he doesn't make me just look good for the moment. He really takes care of my hair.
I'll bet I know how he does that.
Yes, of course. He only uses Paul Mitchell products, just like I do at home.
Well, I won't argue with that, but I will say this.
Yes, JP?
I still think you're amazing.
Paul Mitchell products are guaranteed only when purchased in fine salons.
When you travel a lot, one hotel begins to look like another. But only Hampton Inn guarantees you'll be completely satisfied or your night stay is free. So you always relax in a clean, comfortable room for a good night's rest. Our continental breakfast is on the house and local calls are free. Call today for this free directory or make reservations now at the one hotel you can always rely on. Call 1-800-HAMPTON now.
Tonight, the voice of The Who, Roger Daltrey, is trying the luck of the Irish on Showbiz Today. Then, does America care what Dan Quayle thinks about Hollywood? In the Crossfire, all tonight on CNN.
Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, crime writer Edna Buchanan helps us solve the mystery surrounding our fascination with police work and crime. Also, we're going to go live to Miami and see how our four-legged friends in the zoo are doing after the hurricane. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Now, let's take a look at what's ahead on Newsday as we go to Lou Waters.
All right, Sonia, coming up, a woman named Irene loses a lifetime of mementos to that hurricane, Andrew. Also, a heartbreaking dilemma.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what was next.
They told us things like we might have to sacrifice one for the other.
A decision too hard for parents to make. And searching for prostitutes and drug users, the AIDS Patrol. Newsday is next here on CNN. Join us.
Coming up, Newsday, followed by International Hour, after a word from your local cable system, here on CNN.
If you'd like to give a special gift to a boy or girl 8 years old and up, get your pencil ready and write down this number, because I've got just the answer for you. It's National Geographic World Magazine, published especially for kids by the National Geographic Society. World brings real-life adventure, page after page of fascinating articles and pictures in National Geographic color. Young readers will have fun exploring Earth, sea, and sky, the environment, and ways to protect it, and enjoy articles on sports, hobbies, science, and adventure. World entertains while it fulfills curiosity, stimulates the imagination, and encourages your youngster to read more. It's amazingly inexpensive for 12 colorful issues of World magazine. Compare this unique once-a-month, 12 times a year gift to a single gift from a toy store, and you can see what a bargain this is. No shopping, no wrapping, no shipping. You cannot buy World magazine at the newsstand or bookstore. You can get it only through the mail, and it's so easy to order. Just call with that special child's name and address today. Call 1-800-257-1257. Each issue has exciting surprises, challenging games and puzzles, inspiring stories about other kids, plus extra-large pull-out pages. All this for only $12.95 for 12 issues. Plus, we'll include junior membership in the National Geographic Society. Your child will receive this welcome kit that includes a membership certificate, an ID card, a colorful iron-on emblem, plus the chance to compete for a $5,000 scholarship. And when you call with your gift order, we'll also mail a special personalized gift card from you. Call 1-800-257-1257. That's 1-800-257-1257. 12 colorful issues, junior membership, and the welcome kit, plus a card from you. This gift lasts a year. The benefits last a lifetime.
This is CNN.
I don't underestimate our task in South Florida, particularly after being here, back here today.
President Bush heads to South Florida, promising more help for the victims of Hurricane Andrew.
I had a couch against that window. It's out in the yard, together with a chair.
Amid the ruins, a hurricane victim tells her story of misery. And this is Newsday. Hello, I'm Lou Waters. Cheryl Atkinson is off. Here's what's happening. President Bush says South Florida will be rebuilt. He says it's a long-term job, but for now, many victims of Hurricane Andrew are most concerned with the short-term struggles of living in a disaster area. The president returned to South Florida today. At one stop, he announced the federal government will pay for all eligible disaster expenses, including the rebuilding of schools and hospitals. Tent cities are going up, but they remain empty as Army and Marine crews finish building kitchens and latrines. The Army's chief of staff says he expects the military's relief operation will last for months. CNN's John Holloman is in the devastated Florida city of Homestead. He joins us now from there with the latest. Hello, John.
Hi, Lou. We're inside one of the tents in one of the tent cities here now. And as you point out, most of the tents don't have residents in them yet, but people are beginning to move in, probably today and tomorrow. One of the people who we talked to early on in our hurricane coverage is Irene Miller. She's a Homestead resident who came to the shelter at the Homestead Middle School. Ms. Miller, you've been under the tent with us here for about 20 or 30 minutes. What do you think, as somebody who may have to live in here? How would it be for you to live for a while in a tent?
I've never done it before in my life, I'll say that. And they tell me that if you lay down, this breeze is quite nice. But don't step outside, because if you do, the sun will melt you.
Yeah. What would be your biggest... Excuse me, go ahead. Just tell me more.
No, I just wanted... I heard they were saying a while ago that they have blowers or something, air conditioning, that they can run through the tent, which would make it a lot nicer. And as long as they have put nice people in here with me, because I'm by myself, they put nice people in here with me, and I have some where the room that I have inside there now, that's fine.
So it would be okay for you to move out of this the shelter in the middle school where you've got the concrete floor and
I prefer to stay over there. Anybody would, because today's the first day we had electricity there. So we have lights. We didn't have any lights up until then. And there's a TV in the corner that they're going to have. They have it plugged in, and it's got snow on it, but they will get a picture. And the people are nice. Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Okay, but as far as you're concerned, you'd rather live in the shelter than to live out here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not crazy.
What's wrong with it?
I'm home, but I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I see. All right, Ms. Miller, you know, we've got some sailors here who put up these tents last night. Maybe in a little while we'll get to talk to them and let you know from them what it's like to actually spend time in here. Okay. Another big event today in Homestead was the visit by President George Bush, his second trip to this area. What were your impressions from where you were?
Frankly, I couldn't hear a word he said. He was up at the microphone, but I couldn't hear anything at all that he said. I know he's looking well, and his wife is looking well, and I believe that was his son and daughter-in-law and children.
Yeah.
And they all look fine, and he looks better in person than on TV, I'll say that.
Well, most of us do.
Yes, I know. He really does. So I saw him, but I didn't hear a word he said.
Well, I was there and got to hear some of what he said, as did my colleague Brian Cabell, who has got a report for us right now on the president's visit today to Homestead. Here's Brian.
Almost since Hurricane Andrew hit last Monday, the president has faced criticism that his administration acted too slowly in the wake of the disaster. On his second visit to South Florida in 8 days, the president brought with him the First Lady and Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney. He also brought good news for the devastated area.
Today I'm announcing that we are committed to rebuilding Homestead Air Force Base.
All right. Homestead Air Force Base was all but leveled by Andrew. The president also promised what he called maximum allowable federal reimbursement for debris removal, temporary housing, and disaster unemployment assistance. His motorcade snaked through the rubble of Homestead, and repeatedly the president talked to the residents. At one point, he shared a drink of water with a little boy. Any questions about politics, he dismissed.
I've tried to keep it out of the political arena, and I have no comment whatsoever, except simply to say we're here to help, and I really mean that.
No mention was made of Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton's announced visit to South Florida later this week. The problem for the president is that it's sometimes hard to distinguish between political posturing and showing true leadership in a crisis. And amid those whom the president visited Tuesday, there was skepticism.
His visit isn't going to change anything.
Was this just political, do you
I think so.
I really wonder why he had to wait to be asked to send help down here.
I am strictly against him, and I am a Republican. I think he's phony from the word go.
Whatever his motivation, the president did seem genuinely moved by the plight of Andrew's victims at times. He also toured one of the tent cities now being erected for homeless residents and met with some of the almost 20,000 troops now stationed here.
Everybody is really singing your praises, what you all are doing, and we're very grateful to you.
The damage estimate here remains at $30 billion. Whatever it takes, the president insisted, South Florida will be rebuilt. Brian Cabell, CNN, Homestead, Florida.
Joining us now outside the tent where we were just spending some time with Irene Miller is Lieutenant Colonel Steve Ritter. Steve, you've been here for a while. You're certainly up to date on what's going on with tents and feeding for the people here in Homestead. How's the project today compared to this time yesterday?
Well, we're making progress every day, John. I just left a mobile kitchen site, and they were feeding several people over there at Campbell Middle. It looked like the tents were in. Driving down by City Hall, Tom Harris, it appeared that the tents are in over there. I see people starting to congregate over there, and of course it looks like the Navy worked real hard through the evening here to get these tents up. Yeah, Irene Miller just said she would much rather live on the concrete floor in the shelter than in one of your tents, and she said, I'm not crazy, you know. Is it going to be very difficult, do you think, to get people to move out here? Well, John, if people are settled and in a safe place, that is certainly a concern. We're not going to try to move people out that are sitting in where they are comfortable and where the places are safe. We have got folks with the city, and the city's meeting with the Red Cross to determine how to try to make these places attractive. Like we had discussed yesterday, once we get the shower units in, we get the electricity in, it's certainly not going to replace a home, but I think it will definitely be better than some of the things that we're seeing down here. Okay. Colonel Steve Ritter, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Irene Miller, and thank you, men of the USS Sierra, for putting up these tents so that we could talk about them and show them off. For now, John Holloman, CNN Live in Homestead, Florida.
All right, John, the terrifying impact of Hurricane Andrew is sometimes lost in a swirl of statistics, but the plight of the widow named Irene Miller, whom John Holloman just introduced us to in his report, brings the pain into sharper focus. Ms. Miller lost her home and all of her possessions, and her house was not insured. A CNN camera crew followed Miller as she returned to the ruins of her home. Here's her story in her own words.
I know what this looks like. I came in here the next morning. It was terrible. You can see that the wall here is just gone and the window is outside. I had a couch against that window. It's out in the yard together with a chair. And these two trees, I don't know how long this roof will hold here. It's really something. Everything blew. Right back there, I put a chair and a lamp, and I still haven't found the lamp. I don't know where the lamp went. If I hadn't gone next door, I wouldn't be here. I don't think I'd be here. You can see here how the windows came in. Just blew right on in. I don't see that there's much salvageable here. I really don't. So, I don't know what to think about this. Somebody asked me what my plans were. I said, how can I make any plans? I don't know how much assistance I'm going to get. So, see, I would have been sitting right in the back of this hall when that wind came through and blew out everything. And I'd have been cut by all that glass. So how lucky I was, I went next door. I don't know if the house can be repaired. I doubt it seriously. And it may have to be rebuilt, which I can't afford. I have no insurance. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow, but okay. Faith in God. That's what they say it takes, and I got it. So that's about it.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency is trying to cope with a flood of troubles like those facing Irene Miller, but a congressional report has sharply criticized the agency's competence. The report indicates FEMA is a dumping ground for political appointees. An investigation by the House Appropriations Committee claims some top agency officials have little or no experience in disaster relief. The report says FEMA has more political appointees than any other government agency. Still to come on this news day, a rush hour flood catches Wall Street by surprise. An update coming up on how traders are coping with that.
You need a way to go home.
And we'll have the story of this 4-year-old transplant patient who has a lot to sing about.
Couldn't ask for anything more. You got 2 healthy babies, so.
There are little miracle babies.
And an update on an operation to separate Siamese twins and the story of one company trying to make AIDS patients welcome in the workplace. All ahead.
State finals coming up. A lot of pressure to win. I don't eat right, I get irregular, so I don't project a winning attitude, and the boys see that. I tried some natural bulk fiber, but I couldn't take all that grit. Then I discovered Sunrise Smooth Metamucil. No grit in the mix or the taste. Easy to get the extra fiber I need every day to stay regular. You got a winning attitude, you win, if you're lucky.
Metamucil, and you could stay regular for the rest of your life.
All dairies go a long way to meet high industry standards, but Quality Check goes further, which is why more people are coming up to the fresher taste of Quality Check. Look for the check in the queue, where the fresh taste will tell you we're better, because we're better than we have to be.
Red Devil Enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil Enamel, for the finish of a lifetime.
Norma Baith, breast cancer, 8-year survivor.
Elroy Brookshen, lymphoma, 11-year survivor.
Chester Jermakwitz, prostate and bone cancer, 6-year survivor.
Diane Casto, breast cancer, 9-year survivor.
Call 1-800-227-3300. Our results speak for themselves.
Sam Oswald, lymphoma, 6-year survivor.
What will be their strategy in the battleground states? What are they going to say to win over the swing votes? What's it going to take to unlock the door to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Keys to the White House, an election special Sunday night at 10 on CNN.
Bill Clinton was back on the stump today, boosted by the latest poll results. A new ABC Washington Post poll shows Clinton with a 20-point lead over President Bush, 56% to 36%. The poll of 768 registered voters was conducted last week. In Macon, Georgia today, Clinton renewed his assault on Bush health care policies. He told senior citizens groups the president plans to cut veterans and Medicare benefits and force the elderly to pay more for health care. Thursday, Clinton will tour hurricane-damaged Florida at the invitation of the Florida governor, Lawton Chiles. The California governor, Pete Wilson, today vetoed a school spending bill, a move that threatens to torpedo a compromise to end the state's 2-month financial crisis. Over the weekend, the Republican governor and Democratic-controlled legislature appeared to finally have come to terms over the deep spending cuts, thereby ending weeks of haggling and name-calling. The governor and lawmakers aren't the only ones upset about all this. So are the disgusted California citizens and frustrated state workers who've been receiving IOUs instead of paychecks. A water main break caused a snarl inside and outside 2 key Wall Street office towers today. As much as 3 feet of water began pouring into the basements of the 2 skyscrapers shortly after midnight. One of the 2 houses 24-hour computer operations for Wall Street. The break forced the closure of FDR Drive, a key thoroughfare running along the east edge of Manhattan. Southbound lanes were expected to be closed for several weeks now for repairs, but the Wall Street computers were not damaged. They remained online using their backup generators, and the stock exchange opened on schedule. This morning we'll have a report on Wall Street in just a few minutes. When a 4-year-old holds a news conference, it's hard to know what to expect.
About an hour ago.
This is Laura Davies, who is breaking into song here and even did a few dance steps today at her news conference to prove She's feeling fine after double transplant surgery less than 3 months ago. Well-wishers from around the world donated the money so this little girl from Britain could come to the United States for a new liver and small intestine. Laura's staying in the Pittsburgh area for follow-up doctor's visits. Doctors say Siamese twin girls separated last Wednesday during surgery at the Mayo Clinic are in excellent condition. When Sarah and Paige Johnson were born June 12th, they were joined from the breastbone to the navel. Michael Breen from our affiliate station WCCO in Minneapolis has more on that story.
This June, when Sarah and Paige were born, their parents smiled on the outside, but inside they said they were devastated. Their first children were joined at the abdomen. They shared the same liver, breastbone, and diaphragm. The problem was first spotted during an ultrasound in North Dakota.
I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what was next.
They told us things like we might have to sacrifice one for the other, or let them live a few days and see which one is the stronger of the two.
When the Johnsons discovered their twins were conjoined, they say there was no question of where they wanted to come, here, to the Mayo Clinic. Now, the doctors here had never separated conjoined twins, but in doing so, they broke new ground. They used a technique that had never been used before. The technique answered a question. Just how much extra skin would surgeons need to close up the twins once they'd been separated? This scan provided the answer. Here you can see where the twins are joined, even the liver they share. The scan simulated surgery, and it told the surgical team just how much extra skin they'd need.
The computer told us we needed 78.4 square centimeters of skin. And so we knew exactly how much we needed.
Surgeons then created that skin by implanting this balloon in each twin. Over 6 weeks, it was slowly expanded, forcing the skin to stretch. When the process was complete, the twins were surgically separated. It took a team of 26 people 5 hours, but the twins are now expected to lead normal lives.
Couldn't ask for anything more. You got 2 healthy babies, so.
They're our little miracle babies, so they're gonna just feel blessed their whole life for having the chance for living.
For CNN, I'm Dr. Michael Breen.
Later this half hour on Newsday, AIDS in the 90s. As the search for a cure continues, community leaders work to change public attitude.
When you want the best for your home, shop Carpets of Dalton's Complete Home Furnishing Center for sale prices every day on top quality